good afternoon to you all. Is everybody okay?
Had a better morning than I have? I've had a fabulous journey. Got up at 4:20, got on the train, stayed on the train in Chester for 2 hours, texting these, going, I might be there, I might not. I love it when they say substantial signalling problems, and they talk about reimbursing you for your journey. I'd been meddwl, I'm a problem.
I just think, well, there's a problem here and might pick it.
I'm the only taxi driver in the whole of Cardiff sydd ddim yn gwybod ble mae'r Senedd. Never heard. And he was saying, yes, Millennium Centre. No, it's not the Millennium Centre, it's the Senedd. Oh. Ond dwi yma, a fedra I ddim...
I'm here and I can't tell you how glad I am to be here.
How pleased I am to actually get here. A very warm welcome to you all to this celebration, because it is a celebration, isn't it, of Adult Learning and Adult Learners Week. Felly, dyn ni yma heddiw.
So we're here today to celebrate the successes of adult learning and also to discuss the far-reaching impact that education has on individuals and communities as Adult Learning Week nears, of course.
On the impact of adult learning and the power it does have to change lives ahead of Adult Learners Week. And to bring together many of you who play a key role in this campaign, working together to promote opportunities and delivering hundreds of tasters and bite-sized learning courses. Ac wrth gwrs, oherwydd y digwyddiadau...
And of course, as a result of recent events, there have been some changes to the timetable, but we're extremely grateful to those of you who have adapted and continue to make your provision.
Campaign has been adjusted somewhat. Many events will still go ahead this week, and we're very grateful to those who will adapt and deliver again from the 17th of October, so thank you to you all. Gai roi croeso cynnas yn gyntaf.
I first of all warmly welcome John Griffiths, who's a member of the Senedd. John is without doubt passionate about adult learning. Please welcome.
Our sponsor for today's event. John has a deep commitment for adult learning, both from his own personal experience and also having worked in further and higher education. Croeso.
Wel, diolch yn fawr ni, a croeso I bawb.
Thank you very much and a warm welcome to you all. Very good afternoon.
It's been a pretty topsy-turvy time in so many ways, hasn't it? But now we're gathered here today for, I think, a very important celebration of adult learning in Wales, and over 10,000 people take part in Adult Learners Week, which is quite phenomenal, really, isn't it, in Wales? And it's brilliant to see all those fantastic stories of often second chance education and routes into employment, better careers, but, you know, personal development, adding to the store of knowledge that people have. It's just a wonderful set of stories that all those adult learners bring to the fore, and it's always inspiring to hear from them, and I know that we will do so later. But let me just say a little bit about my own experience, because I have benefited greatly from second chance education. When I was in my early 20s, I had a young family. I was living in a council house on an estate in Newport. I was out of work and had been out of work for over a year. I'd left school without taking any exams. So I thought it was sort of time to sit down and reflect and think what I was going to do in the future for myself and my family. And education just, you know, came immediately to mind, that if I was going to get a reasonable career and, you know, hopefully earn a reasonable salary, then education would be my route to do that. And, you know, I guess the fact that I'd done reasonably well in school, although I hadn't taken any exams, I just stopped going basically, which wasn't a very good idea. But, you know, nonetheless, I thought that I could do something in education, because when I had been in school, I'd done reasonably well. So I went to, we called it Nash Tech at the time, so it's Gwent College, Newport campus now. And I did evening classes. They had the 16 hours rule at the time, which probably still applies, I think, does it, where, you know, you couldn't study for full time and claim benefits. So I went to the evening courses, and, you know, the lecturers were absolutely fantastic. I did GCSEs, I went on to do A-levels, and I particularly liked sociology. And I was thinking of doing sociology at university, and my sociology A-level lecturer said to me, John, I know you're very passionate about politics, you've got a young family. If I was you, I'd think about doing law. And I did think about it, and I did do law. And I went on to become a solicitor. And he was right in saying that, you know, the connection between law and politics allows you to develop, you know, into politics if you want to with that sort of legal background. You know, it's a sort of fairly well-worn route, really, isn't it? So, you know, I ended up doing that. I worked as a solicitor for several years in the Gwent Valleys, and then I was very fortunate to win an election and become a local councillor, and then on to what was then the Assembly. So, you know, it was education, second chance education, first class, second chance education, that gave me that opportunity, you know, and I'm just so grateful for it looking back. I was grateful at the time, I'm grateful now. The quality of the lecturers that I had, the really sage advice that I was given. And, you know, it's worked really well for me, and I know it's worked really well for many, many other people. And, you know, we've got to really value it in Wales. We've got to understand it, and we've got to keep these opportunities in place and develop them further, because we all know that adult education has come under a lot of pressure over recent times. And, you know, it's thankfully, I think we've got a Welsh government that does value it, and a minister in Jeremy Miles that very much values it. And we've seen that commitment from Welsh government, that emphasis on lifelong learning. You know, it's always been there in Welsh Government that, you know, in the wider realm of education, to always keep lifelong learning to the fore and prominent, and make sure that it's part of that overall educational scene in Wales. So long may that continue. And certainly there are others, you know, amongst the Senedd members who've had similar experiences to me and very much value adult education as well, and I think that stands us in good stead as we move forward into the future. Thank you all very much for listening. I look forward to the rest of the afternoon. Diolch yn fawr.
Diolch, John, am rannu'ch stori.
Thank you, John, for sharing your story with us.
Felly'r hyn sy'n arbennig ar hyn dwi'n...
So what I particularly love about Adult Learning Week and the Inspire Awards, which are a cornerstone of these celebrations, is the fact that we hear people's stories, inspiring stories that relate to the impact that education has on their lives and the huge difference it can make to their lives.
Stories of people who have had life-changing experiences because of education and due to learning is what Adult Learners Week is all about. And the Inspire Awards, of course, are always at the core of that campaign. Da ni am wylio ffilm fach fer rwan.
Now we're going to watch a short film, and then we will hear from our incredible ambassadors.
And then we'll hear from our Adult Learning ambassadors, Scott, Rose and Mark. Lifelong learning changes stories. Rydyn ni'n gwybod bod addysg oedolion yn gwarchod iechyd meddwl, yn cysylltu ac yn adeiladu cymunedau ac yn arwain at fywydau gwell. It builds our knowledge, providing paths into better jobs. Adult Learners Week is a partnership of adult learning providers. Cyfle I gynnau ac ysbrydoli dechrau newydd a chynghori, lliwio a
a meithrin hyder I roi cynnig ar bethau newydd. A festival of short courses, tasters, outreach, advice, testing, listening and learning. Gwyl I ysbrydoli, enyn diddordeb, grymuso a newid straeon. Adult Learners Week. Never stop learning.
A mae'n gyfle ni rwan gwrdd
And it's now an opportunity for us to meet some of our ambassadors.
â wadd Scott
So
Jenkinson.
first of all, could I invite Scott Jenkinson to say a few words? And I'll never forget the first time I heard Scott speaking about his experiences. And it is entirely inspiring. It is incredible indeed.
Jenkinson to kindly join me on stage now. Now, Scott won an Inspire Tutor Award in 2015, didn't you, Scott? And now works as a community tutor and as a founder of YouthShedz, an amazing social enterprise which provides a safe space for young people across North Wales to develop their skills. I was lucky enough to record a podcast called Change Your Story with Scott, and hearing how far you have come, Scott, is truly inspiring and mind-blowing. And I'm also very grateful because he does double up as my carer, because he spotted me on the wrong platform in Newport and shouted, "Naya, over here." So thanks to Scott, I've arrived safely hefyd. Felly over to you, Scott. Diolch.
Diolch. Bore da. Fi dysgu Cymraeg. Yeah, trying. I'm going to use my notes a little bit because I promised I will stick to 5 minutes. But already my notes are out of date because this morning I woke up at about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and wasn't in the best of moods. I was grumpy, I was tired, and oh no, I've got to get a train. I've got to be on a train for 4 hours. That's now 6 hours, wasn't it? Yeah. So, but it really got me thinking as I got on the train. You know, why am I going all the way to Cardiff? 6 hours on a train, 4 hours back for literally 5 minutes speaking, you know. And also somebody else asked me the question yesterday, you really going all the way to Cardiff for 5 minutes? And I said, I am. And he asked why. And I was like, well, there's so many reasons I love doing this. So many, but the words already been said this morning, gratitude. You said you were grateful for the opportunities you were given. And that's why I'm here today, partly, is out of gratitude. Because I was given a second chance. Adult learning was a gateway for me into a new life. I was living on the streets in London. I was a heroin addict, crack cocaine addict, alcoholic, all of the things in one little bundle. And I was offered a place by a support worker to go to a college. And I basically lied to get into the college. I told them that I was clean, that I was off drugs, I was off heroin, and I wasn't. I went there, and my reason for going into Colwch, as it was up in North Wales, was I wanted a roof over my head. That's the honest answer. I wanted a roof over my head. I didn't want to go back to prison, and I wanted 3 meals a day. And this support worker told me that these things were available at Colwch. I didn't want to go to education. I've got to be honest, I'll stand there and say that now. I did not want to go into education. My previous experience of education was at school, where I was bullied, where I didn't fit in. I was always the new boy because my dad was a policeman, so we moved around all the time. So I was a new boy, I went to rough schools when my dad was a policeman. So can you imagine, I wasn't really welcomed wholeheartedly. So I found my comfort in cheap cider. And by the time I left school, like yourself, I didn't leave with any qualifications. I left with an alcohol addiction, basically, and I spent the next 20 years running away. But I got to this Colwch and it completely transformed everything. It really did. What I see now, I found a passion for learning when I went to that college, and I have no doubt that I caught that passion from the teachers. One of them in particular, Mark Jenkins, absolutely. You know, he saved my life. You know, he really did. So I got this passion for learning, and that was to see me start a journey into becoming a tutor. You know, I get goosebumps, and I just say that now. That, you know, from a heroin addict in a doorway to where I'm at now doing this is yeah, it's hard to fathom sometimes. But the other thing that, you know, not only have I become a tutor, but I've got to try not to cry when I say this, but I've got my family back. You know, I ran away from my family. My family didn't disown me. I ran away from them. I didn't want them to see what I'd become. And a week ago, I got a text off my dad saying, "I'm proud of you, son." And that's all I've ever wanted to hear, you know. And I put that down to dipping my toe into adult education and overcoming the fear of getting back into the classroom again. Today, I'm very, very proud to stand there as an ambassador and to use the platform, because I believe if people have a platform, then they should use it. And I have a platform not just in adult education, but in recovery for substance misuse, homelessness. So I'll tell anyone, anywhere, that education changes lives. I really will. I'm also very proud of my relationship with the Learning and Work Institute. You know, they've given me so many opportunities, it's unbelievable. You know, I've been around Europe with them. You know, I've done all sorts of things with them as a result of dipping my toe back into education. This year's strapline is Never Stop Learning, and I really believe a good tutor is also a good student, and I love learning. I cannot wait to start. I'm going to do a chaplaincy qualification next year, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to get back in the classroom and be a student again, be a learner. Today, as was mentioned, you know, I run a charity today called YouthShedz. Alongside some of the teaching I do, I run a charity called YouthShedz where I work with young people who are potentially on the similar path to what I was. And the thread running through all of them, I could probably say 90% of them, is the experience they had at school. For whatever reason, for whatever they were dealing with in life, school wasn't necessarily the safe place that it was meant to be for them. And I see that all the time. So I run a charity today. I've now found myself, instead of writing lesson plans, I'm writing funding bids, I'm doing project management things, all of these things that I really don't know how to do, but I know how to learn. So I truly believe one of the biggest gifts that adult learning has given me is the confidence to know that I can learn. So when I'm sitting looking at all this stuff, as I'm trying to write a report for the Welsh Assembly, or, you know, because I have to do this now because of funding and that, I now know that I don't have to get overwhelmed with it all, because I know I can go on a course, get some help, and learn how to be a better project manager, how to do things strategically, which, you know, I'm not known for sticking to the script, and that's in all my life. So I'm learning today how to be a better what I am now. So I'm not what I was before. You know, I'm a father now. I'm a husband. You know, I'm a tutor, and I'm a son again to my family. So I'm very, very, very grateful to be here, and thank you very much for being here as well, and for the adult learning that we have in Wales, because it is phenomenal. You know, I've lived all over the place in England, and that nothing touches adult learning like Wales does. So thank you very, very much, and yeah, I thank you. That's it from me. Thank you.
Diolch, Scott. I can never listen to Scott without getting a little lump in my throat at some point, so thank you. Well done. A ga I ofyn rwan i'n ail, Lisa?
May I now invite our second ambassador, who looks a little bit petrified, but she'll be fine.
Felly, ga I ofyn i Rose Probert.
So can I invite Rose Probert, who won the Inspire Award in 2016, to come to the stage, and she represents adult learning without any doubt whatsoever.
Rose Probert to come and join me. Now, Rose won an Inspire Award in 2016, didn't you? And I think she embodies lifelong learning. You were 32 when she decided to study for GCSEs, provided at your local school. And then that was just a new beginning, a second chance, as we've heard John talk about second chances. So, Rose, over to you. Take a deep breath.
How can I follow that, guys? Gee whiz. I'm going to start off with a bit of an hashtag, okay? Second chance learning is definitely my best friend. if it wasn't for, you know, my little local community giving me the opportunity to you know, gain qualifications, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, because I'm probably a little bit better about talking about myself rather than, you know, actually focusing on you people, because it's quite daunting being up here. So I come from a Gypsy and travelling community, and, you know, as you already know, education in that community is at the forefront. But for me, yes, it was. You know, I always had education from a young age, from the age of 2. But unfortunately, because I've got, well, it's not unfortunately, I've got a disabled brother, and the full focus was always on my disabled brother, who took up a lot of time. I come from a single-parent family, and I did a lot of caring. I'm still doing the caring now alongside my daughter. I've got a 16-year-old daughter who actually cares for my disabled brother too with me. So, you know, I had okay GCSEs, but not enough to say, do you know what, Rose, you can go on and go off to university. In my community, that wasn't known whatsoever, but I wanted it. I wanted to be like, I suppose, all of you today. And I was thinking, why can't I be that? So it was just for the opportunity within my local community, as in Moncton, a really socially deprived area. I went to school in that area as well, and I guess it opened the door for me. And this is where I'm saying second chance education is definitely my best friend. Because if it wasn't for that community and courses and people approaching me, why don't you go and do this, Rose? And I'm thinking, no, I can't do that. I had no self-belief. I had low self-esteem. It was basically in my boots. So I thought, okay, then I'll go along. And thankfully, I work in education. I've been in education for 21 years. And I started off as Gypsy Support Liaison. So, you know, that was my job. I knew exactly the community, how to treat them, what, you know, we're not allowed to say in front of certain members of that community. And I just, you know, thinking, okay, then, I'm in education, where can I go? In my opinion, I didn't think I could go far. But then, obviously, I got off this GCSE. I saw a teacher that actually worked within in my school. I work in a secondary school. And as soon as I saw her, I said, oh, Oriel, are you going to be that teacher that's going to teach me English? And she said, yes, Rose. And I said, okay, I'm going to achieve this. I know I'm going to get this grade. And you know what I did? I was only 2 marks off from getting an A, sorry. I had a B. But then, you know, I thought, okay, I had a bit of confidence and carried on with it. And then maths got offered to me. Yes, I completed maths. Not a good grade. I need to really reset that. And I'll speak to you, sir. Could you please lower the grade level for actual teaching? Because I've got a C, but you're wanting a B. So could you just, you know, give it to me? And I can, you know, progress and have my dream job, basically. So I'll have a chat to you later. So, yes, I had my, you know, qualification in maths and then obviously science. But then, thankfully, we had a university that was offered to us. They would come to us. So Trinity St. David's, wow, what a place. They came to us. They came to my classroom, literally only 5 minutes away from where I actually live. So there was no transport. There was no thinking, how can I get childcare, about the petrol or anything like that. And then, oh, that was it. My world just opened. I was like engrossed in learning. I just wanted to soak up all of this atmosphere and really think, do you know what? Yeah, I can get a degree. So yeah, I did. I got my degree. Well, I got a few degrees, but I'll chat about that later. But I came out with, I did a degree in, a foundation degree in education studies, inclusive studies in education, sorry. Then I did my BA, just to get the full, you know, degree. So I graduated then. And then through that, I got nominated with the school that I was actually doing all my courses, and won the award, for the Inspire Award with Learning and Works Institute, and for progression. And do you know what? I'm thankful to you for actually believing in me, giving me that opportunity, because I wouldn't be here today actually speaking in front of you all. And I know I'm speaking at, you know, like a little too much, but hey, that's me. So after that, then I thought, you know what, I cannot sit still. I really need to keep on learning, because education, my God, it is learning every day, isn't it? And I'm learning every day, living proof. So then I went on and did a postgraduate then in special needs, because that is my area. I've been in it, I've 21 years in my job. And I thought, oh, that was only for a year. Oh, come on, Rose, I need more of a challenge. What can I do? So I had a year out, and then I thought, okay, let's go on and do an MA. So this is where I'm saying I bypassed the teaching. As I keep saying, I'll be coming back to you, sir. And I did my MA, and I graduated in July with an MA, and you know, I came out with a 2-1, which isn't too bad for being a dyslexic student. And I was only diagnosed in my university years that I had dyslexia. So it goes to show, you know, you may have some kind of disability, but you can't actually achieve and learn if you actually believe that you can. So I guess, yeah, second chance education is definitely where I am today, and it's given me the opportunity. Do you know what? I'm still going to carry on learning, because next week I'm going to join a course in Pembrokeshire College. I'm going to be learning sports massage. Totally something different. But you know what? It's something different for me. It's good for my well-being. And in fact, learning, studying is my well-being. Where some of it for you may be, oh, I'll have a little walk, read a book, go out with a friend or socialise. Mine is studying, because I can escape. That's my time to give it all back to me, because no one has ever believed in me because of, I suppose, the commitments that my family's got at home with my disabled brother. And it's no fault of their own. It's just the way life is. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It's given me the, you know, good qualities of, you know, actually showing empathy towards others. So that's basically my story. And I'm thankful. I am definitely thankful to everybody who's just listened to me and believe in me. And I'd also like to say thank you to my school for allowing me to come here today, because I know this is getting recorded. So I hope I'm a good ambassador for my school, but as well as continue working with Learning and Works Institute. Thank you, guys.
Well, you needn't have been nervous. You nailed it, Rose. I wanted to get pom-poms and shout, "Go, Rose!" Da iawn, gwych. Oh, I don't even know where I am on my script now. I just got carried away. Felly,
So, final ambassador is Mark Church. Mark has managed to make me cry. Is Mark here?
Yeah, you made me bawl. I cried. I was presenting on stage in the Inspire Awards when Mark told his story, and I was like, I lost the plot a little bit. I was like, oh, I'm just a bit hormonal, but it was you, Mark. So thank you for that. But today I'm fine. I'm composed and calm. Mae'n iawn. Felly, Mark, not having a great experience at school, and you started working at Dŵr Cymru at the age of 18, didn't you? So when his job in maintenance changed and he was redeployed as a network inspector, he was faced, to do a job that needed more written work and needed to use a computer, which took him on a whole new learning journey. So over to you, Mark. I'll let you share your story. Diolch.
My name's Mark Church. I'm 53 years old. I work for Welsh Water. I'm based at Bromley Hill in Hereford, and I've been with the company for 35 years. Now, when I started back when I was 18, I started on the shovel, on the gangs, which suited me down to the ground, because all you had to basically be was physically fit. Then, 10 years later, my job changed, and I had to as well. I became the local network inspector for Hereford City, and I had to face two of my greatest fears. First of all, I had to write all the information down on job cards, and second of all, I had to face the general public. But I got through, I managed. Then, later on in life, it changed yet again. I had to put the information down on computers. And even though I'd done a 4-day course with Welsh Water, I still did not have a clue It scared me to bits. I even thought about giving up my dream job. But I managed. I made excuses, or I got people to do it for me. But then, luckily, when I was 42, Mike Wilson, who isn't here, he brought adult learning to Broomey Hill. And I remember thinking to myself, it's time now I did something about this, because I cannot keep going through life hiding in the shadows and running away. Because it's not just affecting my work life, it's affecting my personal life, my own life. Like, for instance, my little girl who was 6 then, she used to come to me and ask me to help her with her homework. And I had to make up excuses. And she was asking me to help her, and I had to let her down. And that used to tear me apart and break my heart. Still does now. But I'd done the relevant courses, maths, IT, English, no, assessments, IT, English, maths. And after speaking to Mike, I asked if I could be taught one-to-one, because I knew that it would benefit me more. And lo and behold, he went and got it for me. Well, I started, and I won't lie, I did find it hard at first, but as time went on, it got easier and easier. And not did I just gain qualifications I never ever thought I'd get in my wildest dreams. For me personally, I gained in so much confidence, it is unbelievable. Because if you had come to me 11 years ago, today, and asked me to stand up in front of all you good people and talk, you wouldn't have got me here for love or money. I would have run a mile first. Well, I find I've done a number of speeches, but my greatest achievement is I went to the Netherlands with Learning for Life, and I spoke over there, which to me is amazing. Now, I could stand here all day, which is amazing, and I can safely stand here and put my hand on my heart and say, I have learned more in them years than I ever did in my old school career. And adult learning was the best thing I ever done in my old working career. Now, I can stand here all day, and I can tell you, oh good, adult learning has made me feel, and now it's changed my life. But I can't. And I still wouldn't feel like I'll get my point over. But if I roughly had to bring it to a point, I would describe it as, when I was born, I felt like I was born into a cage, where I grew and the cage never. And as I joined Essential Skills, every time I went, that lock would get weaker and weaker until it snapped and I was free. So to bring it to an even finer point, I can look you all in the eye and tell you, I know by doing adult learning, it has come along and let me out of the cage so I can live my life and do the things I want to do. Because I know that there is nothing I cannot do if I don't put my mind to it. And to me, that is life-changing. Thank you very much.
Diolch, Mark. Go, Mark. Go, Mark. Amazing. Diolch I chi gyd, y tri ohonoch chi am
Thank you all three for sharing your inspiring stories with us.
for sharing your amazing, inspirational stories with us. And it's clear that I don't think any of you will ever stop learning, ever. Nesa, dwi'n cael y pleser o wadd.
Next, it's my pleasure to invite Jeremy Miles, Minister for Education and Welsh Language, to the stage. The best job in the world, of course.
So we're joined by Minister for Education and Welsh Language. Rhowch groeso cynnes I Jeremy Miles.
Wel, prynawn da, bawb.
Well, good afternoon, and it truly is a pleasure to be here this afternoon to celebrate adult learning.
Here this afternoon to celebrate adult learning. We've heard some very remarkable stories, and Scott and Rose and Mark have been ambassadors for adult learning in Wales, and we can hear from their stories why that is. And I just want to say to you, Scott, you've come all this way for a lot more than 5 minutes. You've come here, we've all come here to inspire us. So thank you very much for sharing your stories with us. And John, thank you for sharing yours as well with us. Emma, Naya and Zaina, who we're going to hear from shortly, thank you to you as well for having the courage to share your story. I know it's not always easy standing up in front of a crowd, but I want to congratulate you on doing that. What all the learners that we are hearing from today personify is that appetite, that continuing appetite to learn and to keep learning. And that is a fundamental, it's fundamental to what makes us human, I think, in many ways. That desire to keep on that journey, and Rose spoke very passionately about not giving up on that journey. And in Wales, we want everybody, every single person, to be able to fulfil their potential. Our new school curriculum will help our young people to gain the knowledge and the skills and the experience that they need to succeed, and it represents what we want for the future citizens of Wales. But, you know, as we've heard already today, school doesn't provide everybody with the best learning environment. Not everyone is able to take full advantage of the opportunity which school presents, and that's why I'm so committed to making sure that Wales is a nation of second chances, where it's never too late to learn, and that chance to learn, but also, you know, to succeed and to reach your full potential in a range of different ways. And that role of learning being kind of fundamental to one's well-being as well, I think, is something that we can all identify with. And just as the new school curriculum makes sure that all our young people have that opportunity, we're also working on a citizens curriculum for adult learners. And I'm pleased to announce that we're working with the Learning and Work Institute to develop this, and it's going to be piloted this autumn. I think it's really exciting, and I think it's a good opportunity for us to work together to tackle some of those barriers that, you know, still exist to even wider participation in adult learning, and we want to make sure that the opportunity is as widely available as possible. And that's about engaging with and empowering adults, partly to access public services, to be engaged citizens, and to enjoy improved outcomes in terms of health and employment, crucially, as we've heard already today. So I want to take the opportunity to thank Adult Learning Wales for their support for the project, and more widely for their support for adult learning generally. The pilots are going to focus on different elements of adult learning, on health and well-being, on how schools and housing associations can support community learning, and how we develop better, greater community cohesion and citizenship. So a really exciting agenda, I think you'll all agree. And to ensure that we are able to continue to proactively engage new learners, I'm able to announce today that I'm providing a further £2 million to adult community learning providers in order to support engagement activity, so that more people can access taster sessions and that hook that gets you into adult learning, and that important first point of contact with re-engaging with learning, which is challenges. So I hope that that this additional funding will support that. It builds on existing investment, obviously, that we've been able to make, and obviously hope that it'll enable us to reach people that we haven't been able to reach in the past. But the real beauty, I think, of adult learning is that it can be so many different things to so many different people, and it can happen in so many different places as well. Adult Learners Week, which obviously has been delayed for reasons that we understand this week, embodies the ethos, I think, of what we want to do, putting together a range of events that allow people from all walks of life the chance to try something new. And there have been hundreds of taster sessions arranged this year, which raised the profile of adult learning. And many of you here today, of course, are involved in organising them. So thank you very much for all the work that you do. The campaign wouldn't happen without that network of partners that work together and completely committed to the work of reaching communities, but also innovating and testing different approaches to make sure we capture as many potential participants during that week. So I just want to close by saying thank you to everybody for all the incredible work that you're doing, for all the opportunities you're providing, and there's much more that we can do together. Felly, diolch yn fawr iawn I chi. Thank you.
Diolch o galon, Weinidog.
Thank you very much, Minister, and perhaps I'd invite you to present the awards and you can relax for now. Without doubt, Adult Learning Week wouldn't happen without cooperation and the hard work of providers like you across the country.
And without the partnership of learning providers across Wales, who join the campaign to organise hundreds of special events, as we've heard, free taster sessions, and to provide information and advice to entice people in. Dwi'n falch iawn o ddeud bod...
I'm very pleased to say that some of you are here today and we want to echo the Minister's message in thanking you for that.
We just want to thank you for your innovation and your partnership and for your contribution to adult education in Wales. Diolch I chi. Heddiw, dwi'n falch o ddeud, ni'n cael gwobrwyo...
Today, I'm pleased to say that we can reward two very special organisations, Unite and UNISON, who have committed to adult education week over recent years and offered all sorts of learning opportunities for their members.
Organisations we'd like to recognise with an award. Both Unite and Unison trade unions have long been committed to worker and adult education, and they have a fantastic history of support for Adult Learners Week. The last few years especially, they have put on comprehensive learning programmes for their members, and they've been a crucial part of Adult Learners Week. The last few years especially, they have put on comprehensive learning programmes for everyone. So dwi'n falch iawn o fedru croeso.
So I'm delighted to welcome two members of Unite.
And Richard Jackson. Sue and Richard, there they are, hello. And I think if I can ask Jeremy Miles, the Minister, to come forward and present the award for you. So llongyfarchiadau, congratulations. Can I just check you? Do you want a quick snap? Can you smile nicely? Gwych iawn, ardderchog. Rwan te, yn sydyn iawn, diolch yn fawr iawn. Dwi just yn mynd I ddod draw I fan hyn. So just, Sue, tell me a little bit. Do I need to switch anything on, guys? Are you all right? Chi'n clywed fi? Di hwnna'n iawn? Da chi'n clywed fi? Di hwnna'n iawn? Yn ddigon bach, da chi'n clywed. You can hear me anyway, can't you? There we go. Ideal. So, Sue, just tell me a little bit about what's been happening. You know, what have you got planned for Adult Learners Week and beyond?
Oh, that is a big question. How long have you got? Well, it's a really brilliant opportunity for us to showcase the kind of training that we offer all year round. Unite's a big union, it's a general union, so we've got members in most sectors in Wales. So normally we work directly with our branches and our employers, but this is an opportunity really to showcase to all of our workplaces, all of our membership, and as you mentioned, it is available to anyone working in a unionised workplace, so it's not exclusive to members. But it educates our unions as well, our sister unions that we work with. We know Mike, actually, Mark, we work with Mike Wilson quite closely. Because we've got so many sectors and there's such a variety, it's a really good way to encourage and promote what's available. And I think, was it Scott, the first speaker, mentioned about how he didn't fit in, and that really touched a chord for me, because those are the kind of people people that we really want to reach out to, the people that don't fit in. Our motto is also, you're never too old to reinvent yourself. I think that's because we have got an ageing workforce, and it's really important to reach out to people who may be struggling or stuck in a rut. I'm sorry, you'll have to shut me up because...
I'm a little bit the same.
See me afterwards if you want, want any more information.
Diolch yn fawr. And I know you briefly touched on the impact, but Richard, what impact do you think it's actually had on your members?
Well, I think the stories that we've heard today really encompass, you know, a really wide variety of the people that we actually help. Those stories are incredibly common to us within the work that we do, not just through Adult Learners Week, but throughout the year, through every day, every week. We're dedicated to creating those stories, and we're incredibly proud to be able to continue with the support of the funding we get from Welsh Government to keep creating stories like this. It makes our job worthwhile, and it's everything that we are about.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, llongyfarchiadau. Well done, keep up the good work. Diolch. An ail wobr ni, and our next award goes to UNISON. So can I invite Jenny and Jeremy Miles again to present the award? Diolch. I was just going to dance back. I always feel like I need to do a little dance on the side. Never, diolch yn fawr. So, Jenny, oh, don't escape, don't run away. So, Jenny, just tell me, I guess it's a simple question, why is adult learning, adult education so important?
Oh, well, first of all the stories I've heard today, wow, absolute lump in my throat, and that is why we do what we do, as everybody has said. I think from a union perspective, it's about creating the opportunities, but also widening those opportunities, so whether you're going through your school, your college, your union, that those opportunities are available. Yeah.
It just gives people confidence, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Whether that's in work, whether it's changing your career, progressing in your career, whether it'll help you at home, whether it's having an impact in the local community as well. Many of our courses don't just focus on individuals, it's how we can support community, climate action, health and well-being. It's having the opportunity to try something new as a learner, but also for us as a provider of considering new opportunities that we can address people's learning needs,
Fabulous.
whatever that may be.
And it's fun.
Yes.
Great. Diolch yn fawr iawn, Jenny, llongyfarchiadau. Da ni yn tynnu at...
We are drawing to a conclusion, but we're now going to hear from two winners that we haven't met face-to-face. We've only met them virtually.
Two Inspire Award winners who we've never actually met face-to-face, only online, because their awards were given during the last couple of crazy years. But I'm very pleased to see them here today. Felly, yeah, I saw you from a distance, online, on screen and stuff. It's really nice to see you face-to-face. So first of all, we're just going to take a look at Emma's story, and then we'll have a little chat, Emma.
I was told I wouldn't live past 30 if I continued to live my life like I did. I was homeless, an addict, a young mum. But after years of drugs and alcohol, I hit my lowest and walked into a recovery centre. There was a college next door, and what started as something to pass the time jump-started my love of learning. And building on previous qualifications I gained in my 20s, I was able to apply for university to study forensic science. It wasn't an easy ride. I overcame mental health issues and found out I had additional learning needs, but that didn't stop me. I wanted a better life for myself and my daughter. In 5 years, I completed my degree, my PGCE, and I'm in the process of completing a Master's in Forensic Anthropology and Bioarchaeology. I also work as a science communicator at North Wales Science Centre. When you struggle to believe in yourself, the people around you make all the difference. You can overcome adversity and change your story.
Diolch. Are you... She looks even more petrified than Rose did. Oh, it's so nice to see you, Emma. And to hear your story there. Well, give us an update. Where are you at now?
So I did my Masters and I was lecturing at the university. Then COVID happened. I lost my darling brother to addiction, and I had a little bit of a change of path. For the last 12 months, I've been working as a case manager in the local drug and alcohol service, just trying to give people hope that they can change. And, you know, a lot of my clients are quite chaotic, or, you know, they're in a criminal justice system. They've been written off by people like I was. And then, you know, I feel very blessed to be able to do that. I feel like my brother guided me back into that. And because I went with that, I've just got a promotion, and I'm going to be the community engagement officer for the whole county, where I'm going to be in charge of building communities in the recovery communities in the community. I'm very passionate about that. I know I wouldn't be where I am today, 11 years clean and sober, without a recovery community. And I just feel like through the skills that I've learned and the confidence that I got through, you know, when I first started adult education, I couldn't even look up off the floor. I really thought I was worthless and I'd never amount to anything. And now I know that's not the case. And, you know, my passion is helping others see the same. So I've just gone with it. And I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, and I'll be a part of a management team. And I just never thought that would happen. Yeah.
And I know you have a daughter. How important is it for you to be like a role model for her? You know, like she sees you learning and, you know, and growing every day.
So yeah, she was taken off me when she was 8 years old, and that was for the right reasons. And, you know, I went away, I went to rehab, I got well, I've stayed well. And she came back to me a year later, a year after I came into recovery, and she's 20 last week. She's my best mate, you know, she's the perfect young lady. She works hard. She's the first person in our family ever to go school, A-levels, university, and that's because of what she's seen me do at home. So I've gone from somebody who wasn't safe to be around my kid to being able to be an example where she is just the perfect young lady who's clever, and she knows she can achieve what she wants, but she works hard for it as well. And that's what I've been able to instill in her. You know, you work and you study and you have a nice life, and yeah, so it's been brilliant to be able to be that example to her in the home.
Diolch, Emma. Ti'n anhygoel, you're incredible. Diolch yn fawr. It's amazing, isn't it? It's like how many goosebumps can you get in one event? Diolch yn fawr. Iawn, dyn ni'n mynd I wylio ffilm arall.
Okay, we're going to watch another film now and hear the story of Naya de Jesus.
About Naya de Jesus' story.
At 18, I started an apprenticeship at Greenidge, working as a receptionist. It was the best thing to ever happen to me. I left school after my GCSEs to support my mum, but I refused to let that hold me back. By 21, I worked my way up to practice manager, looking after the operational management of the group. But I wanted to keep learning. So I started a leadership and management apprenticeship to give me the skills to progress. The skills I learned set me up for success when the practice moved into remote working during the pandemic. Since then, I've completed a project management qualification and will be starting a level 5 management diploma later this year. I haven't taken a traditional educational path, but have been fortunate enough to be surrounded by a great support system. I'm going to continue learning. Knowledge is power. You can broaden your horizons and change your story. Whatever I can do to make myself better, I will do it.
Naya, ga I ofyn I Naya ddod ymlaen? Am I going to frighten you off with the microphone, Naya? Is she here? Where is she? Oh, there you are. And I can't see the screen from here, so I was like, I don't know what Naya looks like. Croeso, welcome. So you did a lot of learning in the workplace. How was that for you?
It was definitely different, but I think it suited my needs. I think everybody is different, but it worked for me because I couldn't go down the traditional route. So I opted to do it while I was in work. And holding down a 9 to 5 and doing education is really difficult, but it helped me thrive to be the person that I am today. And I'm just grateful for all the opportunities that I have been given. And yeah.
And do you have this sense of sky's the limit? Are you just going to keep going?
The sky is definitely the limit. You know, when I left school partway through my A-levels, I never thought that I would be a practice manager by the time I was 21 of a law firm, let alone operations manager. And now I've been headhunted for a new position, a capital law, being a business analyst. And I've just turned 27. So I never ever thought I'd be doing any of the things I'm doing, but I seem to be smashing it. So.
You keep smashing it, girl. Llongyfarchiadau, amazing. Thanks for sharing your story. Ag un dysgwr arbennig.
And one more special learner.
Zaina Aljumma. So Zaina has been nominated for this year's Inspire Adult Learning Awards, and let's take a quick look at why.
I started a master's degree in Syria, but the civil war forced me to flee. The English we studied in Syria was very basic, so I struggled when I arrived in the UK. I didn't want to leave my room. I couldn't communicate with anyone. I felt like I didn't have a purpose. I started volunteering to build up my confidence, and later I enrolled on an English course. It has been a hard journey, especially during the pandemic. 3 years later, I'm due to complete a degree in education with additional learning needs, and I'm learning British Sign Language and Welsh. I work as a health and well-being lead and have also started a new role with Adult Learning Wales. I'm keen to use my own experience to help others who are struggling. Learning has given me a chance to start a new life. I left one behind to build a new one in Wales.
Do you know when you watch yourself on telly and you cringe? If she had a cushion, she'd have been hiding behind it. I could see your face.
I came to the stage to cry. Thank you so much.
You take the microphone.
Oh, thank you.
Carry on. Tell us a little. No, carry on. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Actually, I don't know where to start from, but I will just maybe want to talk about how the learning maybe built my confidence and give me that sense of belonging to be hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm a good member in this community. So basically, as I said in the short film, I came to the UK with little English, the ones that we learned in Syria. So first of all, you have to start with subject, and then the verb should come after. But we don't use that conversation, or it's just very, very, very basic ones. And even when you watch films in the evenings, you just relaxing, lying on your couch, eating popcorn, relaxing. And if you are struggling with any words, you just look at the translation on the screen, you will be fine. But when you want to, it's not want, to be honest, I forced to flee. So that wasn't an option, it was, I had no choice. And then when you come to a new country, which speak another language, drive in different direction, and even the writing, for example, we read and write from the right to the left, and here from the left to the right. So everything is completely different for me, I found learning like rebuild my future, maybe, hopefully.
And does Wales feel like a very welcoming place for you?
Very welcoming place to me.
A ti'n dysgu Cymraeg? I'm not going to put you on the spot.
You can't actually. No, actually, if my son's with me, they would be really great supporters because they're like very, yeah, they're really great, yeah. Oh, thank you.
Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Diolch o galon I...
Thank you to Emma, Naya and Zaina for sharing their stories with us. And to conclude, it's my pleasure to invite Jeff Greenidge, the chair, to say a few words.
And past winners and ambassadors for sharing their stories with us today. So could I please now invite Jeff Greenidge, Chair of Learning and Work Institute, to make the closing remarks. Diolch.
Thank you, Naya. Thanks, everyone. You can't follow that, so good afternoon. So first thing I wanted to do is just to thank all the learners, all the tutors here today. So a round of applause to all the learners, all the tutors. Some wonderful stories we've heard today, and prynhawn I bawb yn diolch yn fawr o John a chynodi y cyflwyniad.
Good afternoon. Thank you to John for your words, and thank you, Minister.
Thank you, John, for hosting today, and thank you, Minister, for your thoughts and your insights on adult learning. I know you're a great supporter of adult learning. We've had some quick discussions there, and I really look forward to continuing working with you to pursue what we've heard today. We've heard some superb stories of how learning has changed lives. You know, it just sticks with me, you know, what Scott said, how things have changed for him. You know, Rose at Moncton, and how that whole community is involved in learning. I've followed that for a number of years, and it's just, it resonates, you know, how that's happened. Mark, your story there about how it's worked in the workplace. Learning takes place everywhere. It's not just in school, it's not just in college. It takes place in the hearts of our communities. Emma, what you said about how things have changed and how the cycle with your daughter has been broken, you know, that is an incredible result. A result of your work, the work of your tutors, the work of those partners within the community to make those things happen. What we've heard from Naya, what we've Zaina, how you've come from Syria. And one of the things that learning does give you is that sense of belonging. In my day job, I do a lot of work on diversity and inclusion, and that's all nonsense. The important thing is belonging. You feel as though you belong, you give more, you contribute more, people give you things, and that's what learning has done there for you, Zaina. I've got a speech here, but I've forgotten about it now. So that's what this has brought to me. So thanks for coming here today. We've seen some wonderful examples here, and we've seen the value of Adult Learners Week. We've seen the value of adult learning. For me, it's a time once a year just to highlight what's taking place throughout the year. And I'm always impressed by the scale of the campaign. We've had about 500 events, you know, both in person and online. You know, it's been well established over 30 years. It's the cornerstone, in my view, of post-16 education and training. It's when all those providers come together to do one thing, to focus on those communities who we want to get to. We've got a conference here in Cardiff in a few weeks' time. It's called the Four Nations. And we're talking here, why don't we let England, Scotland and Ireland understand what we're actually doing here in Wales? And that additional £2 million that the government has given, why don't we work sensibly together as organisations to make the most of that fund? We could do a bit more, mind, but you know, what we've got now, let's use that sensibly. And can I give a big thanks to Naya for taking the journey down here today. We followed her on the Lego map of Wales at the top there. Go and have a look now. We've got her in Cardiff, and the train there is in the station ready to go back. I can't say I'll wait here now until you get back to North Wales, but it was good. Sorry? No, I won't, no. But I want to give a round of thanks to my colleagues here at the Learning Work Institute. You know, Kay, Wendy, Nisha, Calvin. They've worked extremely hard to make sure that this happens, and they ensure a greater presence for adult learning here in Wales. And thank you, David, for your leadership of this very small but perfectly formed team. And David is moving on to be the director at Coleg Cymru, which is the organisation that works with the colleges here in Wales. And he's not going to leave us. We're going to have hold of him in the reins, because we need the colleges to work much more closely with us here in adult education. In Wales, we've got to be bold. We've got to embrace the change. Things happen, and what's really pleased me is how Work Institute has actually responded to the pandemic, how we've maintained the service to learners. The Welsh Government has put in place a framework. It's given us money, it's given us systems, it's given us ways of working, but actually they can't do it for us. It's up to us to identify those 5 streets in Wrexham, those 5 streets in Blackwood, that's where I used to live, those 5 streets in Bangor, where those learners are, those people who want to come out of that cage that we talked about. How can we work together to identify those streets and get those people from those 5 streets into those community learning venues? Government can give us an infrastructure. They can make structural change. But it's us in the sector who have the organizational relationships, who have the partnerships that can really make an impact on communities. The Adult Learners Week campaign has become a key element of building this learning society that John was talking about. And I love that phrase, John, you mentioned about first class, second chance learning. And that's what it is. It's first class, and it gives people that second chance to progress where they didn't have it in the first place. So the Inspire Awards for me are really important. It's our chance once a year to see some great stories, but let's leave it there. Let's learn from those opportunities. Let's learn from those stories, and let's learn together to be bold and to make those examples multiply across Wales. So thank you for listening. Thank you for coming here today. And above all, thank you, the learners, and thank you to the tutors for making this happen. Thank you.
Diolch, Jeff, a diolch yn fawr iawn I chi gyd.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you to you all for giving us your time this afternoon.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Have a safe journey home, wherever you're going. Who knows if I'll ever get there, but it'll be an adventure. And I've chatted to all kinds of interesting, different people on the train. You know, people who avoid me when they just put their newspaper up, because I think, oh, they look interesting, I'll sit here and talk to them. Ond diolch yn fawr iawn I chi. Never stop learning. Dyna'r neges. Diolch I chi.
Excellent. Thank you.